We will start the proceeding with the recitation from the Holy Quran by Saqib Irfan Sahab. Tashrif laiye Saqib Irfan Sahab.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah, Saqib Irfan Sahab. Respective Chief Guest, Mr. Ehsan Mani, Chairman, Pakistan Cricket Board, Mr. Arif Saeed, CEO, Service Industries, Mr. Tahir Memon, author of the book, Mr. Salim Parvez, co-author of the book, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. It's our proud privilege to honor to have among us is also shortly expected Mr. Zahid Ali Akbar, former Chairman PCB, and of course Mr. Shahid Rafi, who is due to arrive shortly, is a former Secretary of PCB, and Mr. Almas Haider, President of Lahore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Raja Irfan Nasser, former Marketing Director, PTC. Cricket and Tahir Memon have been synonymous not only during the period 1997 and 1998, but even today I'm sure many of you will agree with me. Another perspective, an initiative taken by Mr. Tahir Memon and Mr. Salim Parvez to document the history of development of game in Pakistan is commendable. Distinguished guests, you will be impressed by the fact that this evening and launch of Another Perspective is the fifth in row where the book launch have taken place in London, Leeds, Islamabad, Karachi, and now in Lahore. This is a unique privilege for Mr. Memon and speaks volume of his popularity not only in Pakistan but also in UK, where he with his family resides for several decades. With this brief intro, let us have the pleasure to listen to our learned speaker. I will first invite Mr. Arif Saeed, CEO of Service Industries Limited, who is main supporter of this launch program in Lahore. And I understand that Mr. Arif Saeed has an interesting story to tell. Mr. Arif Saeed.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ehsan Mani Sahab, Chief Guest for the occasion, Mr. Tahir Memon, of course, and Mr. Salim Parvez, the authors of this fantastic book. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me a brief opportunity to speak. When I was told about the book launch and given a copy of the book, I saw that it dated from 1977, the period when my grandfather, Chaudhry Muhammad Hussain, was chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. And in the book, Mr. Tahir Memon mentions the involvement of people in my family and my company thus. After consultation with my GM of marketing, I arranged a follow-up meeting with Ijaz Butt, who, as son-in-law of Chaudhry Mohammad Hussain, Chairman BCCP, was voluntarily devoting time to management affairs in the board. Ijaz was also marketing director of Service Shoes. Here I must give credit to Service Shoes to have not only served in the management of BCCP, but to have financed the game to the best of their ability by buying advertising space in the grounds. I went to Ijaz with a reference from Yawar Saeed, PTC's GM Leaf based in Nowshera, and well known to Ijaz because of their shared cricket background. I found Ijaz very cordial and encouraging and immediately receptive towards my idea, which was to provide, in lieu of the ordinary payment for banner space to the board, cash prizes to be paid directly to the cricketers. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only was my grandfather chairman of the cricket board, but his son-in-law, Mr. Ijaz Butt, also became chairman of the cricket board. And I'm here to tell you that I am Mr. Ijaz Butt's son-in-law. So not only has our company contributed to chairman of the cricket board, they have also contributed 2 honorary treasurers and a secretary. So the first honorary treasurer was Chaudhry Mohammad Hussain himself, and the second is my other uncle, Mr. Muhammad Naeem, who's sitting here with us. And as a 10-year-old, I remember Colonel Zafri driving up every day, every evening to our house, and they had clandestine meetings of the then BCCP. And I think it was a real labor of love and passion that made service industries contribute to cricket by having their own first-class team, which we still try to come to the first division and make it to the first-class team. We have had test cricketers that have come through our club. And I think after today's book launch, I'm going to invest even more in making sure this team is one of the best in the country. And I see Mr. Haroon Rashid here. I see a picture in Mr. Ijaz Butt's house of Mr. Haroon Rashid, again, the England series, receiving the Man of the Match award from my grandfather. And this is really, the history of a time when cricket was an amateur sport. The PCB was run on an ad hoc basis. And some people who had great vision and great passion for cricket and an appetite to develop kept on working for the benefit of the PCB. So before I leave, I remember 2 things that I can recall from my childhood that we were told in my household that Chaudhry Mohammad Hussain had a hand in. I think the cricket house land was acquired in 1976. I believe that may have been the time when he was the honorary treasurer. And those people thinking there were trying to find steady income sources for the PCB. So that was the first thing we heard, and I'm very proud of my family's association with this. The second thing I recall is my grandfather going to President Chaudhry Fazl Ilahi and asking for an appointment with the Prime Minister, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, to request him to transfer the Gaddafi Stadium from the ownership by Government of Punjab to the PCB. That ownership was transferred in 1980, but I submit to you that the seeds were sown back in 1977 when all these people were working so hard for the promotion of cricket. And finally, just a word on the extraordinary efforts of Mr. Tahir Memon and his co-writer, Mr. Salim Parvez. I think I will go back and give a presentation to my marketing people about the way somebody can innovate and make a brand like Wills such an integral part of cricket that it was synonymous with cricket. And the foundation they laid has come to the point where companies like us bid serious money to pay for TV rights and have our brand associated with cricket, which is the most powerful vehicle for brand promotion in Pakistan and easily the sport Pakistanis are most passionate about. So I congratulate Mr. Memon and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arif Saeed. And remembering the house of Chaudhry Muhammad Hussain, we cannot forget the name of Mr. Ahmad Saeed, who left for Himalayan about a couple of months back. And he was a great son of Punjab, and he was a great patron of the game as well. Talking about Wills and cricket contribution, you would remember that Haroon and Amir Sohail and of PJ, that, and of course the great Abdul Qadir, that Wills Cup contribution to the one-day cricket, that was instrumental cricket tournament and the foremost one. And by that virtue, we prove our power in international cricket. The 1987 Cricket World Cup, we went to the final of the Reliance Cup in 1987, and there onward, we won the 1992 World Cup. So that was on the basis of well-organized Wills Cup by Mr. Tahir Memon. Well, today we are much more informed of the value of recording the history of any kind as such. And I'm sure we all want to hear the author of the book and his perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, the author of the book, Mr. Tahir Memon, I invite to share his perspective about the book and about his future plan. Mr. Tahir Memon.
Thank you, Raja. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. Chairman, Chief Guest this evening, Mr. Ehsan Mani, Mr. Arif Saeed, my friend Almas Haider, President of the Lahore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, my co-author Parvez Salim, distinguished guest, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Arif Saeed Saab, when I approached him for this evening, was magnanimous. And I thought that probably he remembers the old association of wills of the times when his grandfather was in chair. And I realized that the marketing boys and girls were very young. They were all very enthused to associate with this function tonight. So I spoke to him. I went to him and I said, "Thank you very much, sir. This is what has been very nice. You have decided to support me, support this evening." And he said, "Look, I've got another story to tell you." And I said, "Don't tell me. I'll give you the mic. You tell the audience the story that you feel is pre my writing the history." So thank you very much, Arif Saeed Saab. You have been very elaborative about, and I now realize that before my time, there is a history to it. And service at that time, when the cricket was really needing finances, so whatever they could do, they were supporting the game at the best that they can do. And I think they deserve an applause because of the fact that they were the initiator of promotion of the game in the yesteryears prior to 1977. Almas Haider is a good friend, a close family friend. He is now the president of the Lahore Chamber of Commerce Industry. When I talked to him about it, he said, "Don't worry. Come over to our offices. Have a look at the auditorium we have for a presentation. Look at the hall that we have for our dinners and all that." So I went there. And I tell you honestly, I was impressed by the auditorium that they have. It's a very good for formal presentation of any type. You have everything in that auditorium, and you can really do a good job. But at that time, what we were thinking was the capacity of more than the auditorium or the hall could take. Having discussed with his people around, I realized that it's probably a small place. Then I thought of what else can I find it in Lahore besides the five-star hotels? There are a number of options available. When I came to Ehsan Mani Sahab, I spoke to him about it. He said, "Tahir, you've got a very big media center. Why don't you think about that?" And then came He's one of the associate worker, Yahya Ghaznavi, colonel. He said, I can give you my lawns. Put up a marquee and invite as many as you wish to. So here was Tahir Memon, who was being taken still by the same spirit. Come in. This is what we can give you. This is what we can do for you. So I was overwhelmed by the fact that 20 years being out of the country, this Tahir Memon is still remembered in the fraternity that he worked with. And today I am overwhelmed by the fact that I see Muhammad Naeem Saab sitting here. Just one call to him and I said, Tahir, for you I will come. Same was the answer from Harun Rashid, Abdul Qadir, you name it. They all said, for you we are coming. I said, look, there is another marriage. That's the second. We'll go there after we have visited you. So that was my first reason to say that we'll need to start at 7:30 precise. I promised Mr. Arif Saeed, I promised Mr. Ehsan Mani, we'll start at 7:30 and we'll inshallah finish at 8:15, provided I don't go lengthier. I'm missing 2 or 3 gentlemen. Subhan is there, my friend Asad is there, Zakir Khan, my friend from PIA, Bhatt Saab, I remember, he is also related to Ajmal Saab and Ajmal Malik and Umar Malik here. All yesteryears. And then PJ. PJ is one my colleague in UK. And he is so naughty, he's been avoiding my phone call. He didn't answer till such time, Ashik phoned him up. He said, I'm going to Tahir Memon's book launching, are you? He said, I'm coming, don't worry. Otherwise, PJ wasn't answering my telephone, neither my emails, as if I don't exist. Though, Shahid Rafi Saab, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Shahid Rafi Saab has come all the way from Islamabad. The reason he's come to this function from Islamabad, because he had some preoccupation on 20th of March. And he said, I'm sorry, Tahir, though I want to, but my previous commitment doesn't allow me. I've got to go for a family function in Lahore. And unless you defer it, unless you change the date, 20th is not possible. 20th March is out of question. And I did try to work it out and realize, no, I can't do it because so many things are attached to it. The chief guest on 20th March was Mr. Wasim Khan, the new managing director of Pakistan Cricket Board. All these things, one realized that you have to adjust. So I requested and I said, in that case, sir, instead, I can't help it, you can't help it for 20th March. You've got to come on the 6th of April in Lahore. So there he is. Thank you very much, Shah Saab. You've been very kind. You've been really kind in the sense that if people or friends like all of us sitting here, I don't need anything more. I cherish these memories precisely and enjoy every moment of it. Last, but not the least, my co-author, Salim Parvez. We planned, we did everything, and then we realized that he can't come on 20th of March because he had certain family health problems. So I said, look, you can't come. I planned all that for a number of months that we will be together on the same dais for all the launches, whether it's been London, Leeds, or Karachi, or wherever. So you got to be with me. So it's all right, I'll try my best. And health of my mother permits, I will join you in Karachi. So he is here. I'm thankful to him because he's been my co-author and a friend who really did lots of work with me, though I've been at times working very hard with him, and he realized that it's very difficult for him to work with me, but still he worked with me. So he'll talk about these things. Talking about other friends, Irfan Nasr, my ex-colleague, marketing director, he is the one who ensured that I wrote the book. He is the one that I was dicey about. I said, do I write it? Do I publish it? What do I do? Where will it be marketed? I have a very niche audience. Nobody will be interested in my book. He said, look, whatever you do, the fact remains that only you can write this history of 22 decades. And if you don't do it, that's not fair. For posterity, you've got to pen down the accurate, near accurate history of that period. And he said, just take my word, I'll be there with you, whatever you require. And I said, look, I don't require anything. No finances, no nothing. I need a moral support. Now that you're telling me that I must, let me go ahead and do it. So he is the one who actually forced me into it. He said, you've done everything, now you've got to have it published. Then I see my first man of the match, Harun Rashid. The memory is such as if it's only happened yesterday. There he was in Gaddafi Stadium, Chaudhry Mohammad Hussain giving the first Will the Man of the Match award to Harun Rashid, the first 1977 November. Then we go to Hyderabad, and there we have the Gogri master, the famous Abdul Qadir. He was the second person to get it. And then the history unfolds itself and goes into some 344 awards. And it's all there. But I'm really thankful to you, Qadir. I'm really thankful to you, Harun, to grace this occasion. I'm delighted. Then I'm missing, I thought I saw him, Amir Suhail. He's one of the finalists of the Wills Cup tournament, who then went for the Super Wills Cup and then was picked up for the Pakistan team, but no less than Imran Khan. It's there in the memory lane. But he was here, but probably he's gone for Salim Malik's daughter. Then in the old friends, I have this Maulvi-looking gentleman, Saqib Irfan. He was the best one could have in terms of statistician. He would teach scoring to all those who wanted to learn scoring from him. And one of my reasons for development of the peripheral aspect of the game was that we needed more than one scorer to go around the country. We had so many domestic tournaments happening, you need more than 20. He was the one who helped me build up the scoring techniques, syllabus, what to teach them, how to teach them. And then they made with the young, what was his name, from Lahore, who joined Abid Ali Qazi, Noman Badr. He died very young. I really missed him. These people erected an edifice for the scoring standards in the country. Then we had umpires who needed development, and the Mehboob Shah was there in Karachi, who wrote with lots of my interest in it, the umpiring laws in Urdu. Because our umpires wouldn't understand much of the English, and to interpret the laws of the game in Urdu was a difficult task. So we worked with each other and we did that. Now, these were the peripheral development. I call it the untold story. I mean, you have people writing books about the performance of the cricketers, performance of the team, performance against each nation, all that. But nobody knows what goes behind it, how the grounds were developed. There were only 3 grounds, Karachi, Lahore, and Hyderabad. Hyderabad didn't even have a pavilion. From there to having 8 grounds, 10 grounds. The best after that was your Lawrence Garden ground, the Gymkhana ground, and the Pendi Club ground. These were the facts at that time. And when I remember that, I remember these faces who were with me at that time. And Naeem Bhai I remember because of 1987. When I was working in Gaddafi Stadium as additional director for the World Cup, and I was working till late because we were only 5-member team to organize the World Cup 87. And we were working late till 12:30. And then one fine morning I saw an article in Pakistan Times. Sanmani Sahab, I was really taken aback. Somebody writing, unknown name of a sports scribe, look who's burning the midnight oil. And I said, who's the gentleman who's praising us for burning the midnight oil? And then I realized, Mohammed names, who is he? I don't know him, I haven't met him. Why would he write about me? But he did that. My salute to you, sir. In 1987, you wrote, which encouraged me to where we have come all the way. To all my friends of that time, I am very thankful to you to be here, to be in Karachi and to be in Islamabad. The total fraternity that I worked with from Karachi to Peshawar is the fraternity which represents Pakistan. I was not a Karachiite, I was not a Lahoriite, I was not a Pindiite. I was a Pakistani who was loved right across the country and had one common friendship level. We called ourselves Friends of the Game. The Friends of the Game invited you today. Now, coming to this launches and the support that I would gather, I tell you that it's very difficult to go to somebody without showing him the document that you produce, without showing him what you want to do and how the whole thing will assembly will be. You say, all right, I'm going to launch three places. Why would anybody will think that, have I gone insane? You'll launch it in one place and forget about it. You've launched the book, it's launched. I had this concept that wherever my niche audience is, I must go there and launch it. Why should anybody be deprived in Karachi or Islamabad or for that matter in London? So when I went to these people, I tell you the first person that came in was National Bank of Pakistan, Iqbal Qasim. He couldn't attend the Karachi function. But he said, I am willing to support you on the Karachi event. Then came the Lahore. Straight away, service industries. No problems. We are going to be the supporters. I was not interested in the money. I was not interested in making money. It was a very simple organizational matter that I need your support, and the support was there. Moral, financial, whatever you need. See here Fauzia sitting, the young marketing executive of service. She had been spending 24 hours on this project for the last 3 or 5 days. And honestly speaking, my hat's off to her because she is working more harder than me. She is there. And she has missed her. So I must thank National Bank of Pakistan, service industries, Hisense, a new product on the market. They became associate supporter, but for all the 3 occasions. They wanted to be in Karachi, they wanted to be in Lahore, they wanted to be in Islamabad. How can I not thank them? I'm really thankful to all these supporters of mine from Karachi, Lahore to Islamabad. I thank you all. I honestly appreciate your efforts. I am grateful to you because the very fact that you didn't knew me, you didn't know what sort of program I have, you didn't know what sort of audience I'll have. You trusted me, you believed in me, and you put your support behind me. Thank you very much. National Bank of Pakistan, Service Industries, Hisense, and National Food. All of you, thank you very much. Now talking about the book. I'm sorry I've taken much of your time talking about other things because I was overwhelmed. When you're overwhelmed seeing all your close friends, you forget what you want to talk about it. Yes, you were wanting me to talk about the book. My apologies. My apologies, sir. My apologies. I've been aiming to talk about when it comes to the medium of promotion. I was about to talk about it in my context of the book of history. Sorry? It's not only TV. It's not only TV. It's Radio Pakistan, which is not represented here. Radio Pakistan took the commentary to the remotest part of the country. TV assisted me on all the 3 centers. TV could go at that time terrestrial 100 miles. I used to see that if you're playing a match in Sialkot, you take the tape and run to Lahore Center. So you're showing live delayed by 2 hours. So it takes 2 hours to take your tape from Sialkot to Lahore. Yes, the contribution is there. PTV and Radio Pakistan put together got the Will's name across. But beyond that, if you want to know communication, communication is function, which is my basic. I'm an advertising man. I'm a communication man. Sponsorship came as a secondary. Ghaya Sahab, I tell you, we took the game into the frontiers where it was played with a Coca-Cola crate and a tennis ball with a plank because of the fact that we took the game and took it in the fashion that nobody could at that time think. We used to put up stalls at Panwalas, 25 chairs, a shamiana, and a TV set. 5 days, rented. Match is being played in Karachi, is being seen in Peshawar through the courtesy of the Panwala. And that Panwala used to sell Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, everything, and a puff of cigarette. And people going past by will sit down, relax, and enjoy the game. Now that going into nook and corner is the PTC's distribution network. Why shouldn't I talk about that? Distribution of Pakistan Tobacco Company extensively by 450 distributors throughout the country was one of the main reasons of taking the signal all over the place. I salute Pakistan Television because I had 20 years contract nobody could break. A 20-year contract. It's there in the book, honest to God. Why I could hold on to television and radio without having to re-sign it any year. Why couldn't my competition take away from me? There is a reason in this book. Please read this book and you realize how best a relationship with the media can be developed over a period of time. 20 years continuous. Nobody could trade in. Nobody could dent it. They tried their best. They couldn't. But people like Khalid Ghayas, who's half Lahore, he showed me Lahore and he showed me how to go about doing public relations. He's my ustad in public relations. Thank you very much, Khalid. Now about the book. Why did I write 20 years later, after 20 years of the 20 years that I have spent? 77 to 98, and then from 98 to 2018. Why it took 20 years for me to write? Did I went on writing 20 years? No. I was sent abroad for a national level assignment. I had to go and I forgot about the game totally because I was involved in what they call is the game of Jagana, not of Sona. ARY, the traders of Sona used to call it, Haji Razak Sahab yaad aate hain, he used to say, we were in the gold business, the Sone ke business mein se, hum saale aa gaye Jagane ke business mein. So I was involved in the Jagane ka business for good 8-10 years in UK. In that Jagane ka business, you never had time. From 1 channel to 5 channels. I never had time for my children, my wife, my family. But it was there. Having then decided to retire from that active television life, I thought of doing a consultancy. And it is at that time I was relaxed, I had time, and it went down the memory lane. And then I realized in 2011 that I have an archive. Again, I will applaud the 2 gentlemen. One of them is here, the other is not there. I took 402 cassettes to Pakistan Cricket Board and presented to them. I said it has got all the recordings, the domestic as well as international fixtures and man of the match and everything, and the ceremonies that we took. The Jasn-e-Fatah, the 50-year celebration, you name it, it's all there. Can you transfer it from VHS to hard drive? And the person who got convinced about it was Subhan. The person who assisted him doing it was 1,200 hours of viewing and editing out the rubbish out of it, just the game. Saad Suleiman. My hats off to him, this youngster's there. Yahya Ghaznavi, And he played that role and turned that 400 cassettes, 1200 hours into 279 program content, which I have got on my hard drive. It's available for anybody to watch. Today I am giving with my book a CD of the highlights of that. It's just 1.5 hour highlight. We're giving the copy free. Go and have a look. You'll remember the 1992 World Cup. You'll remember the 50-year celebration. You'll remember a number of things. You'll remember the 13th World Cup where Mr. Shahid Rafi stood up and talked about the program for the tomorrow and the program that we have passed through. We used to publish 18 publications, each publication each year, starting from just 16 pages to 198 pages. Now, what are we going to, how long can we talk about it? I tell you that it just occurred to me that I have got those archives. I have got 18 years publication. I have got over 600 photographs. I didn't need any proof. I've got to do it and I've done it. So here it is. I can only say about the book is, read it. You will find the history most accurate. But if you want to know, I'll only say it in Urdu and Farsi. I hope somebody will appreciate here. हमने सींचा है इस खेल को अपने लहू से. हमने सींचा है इस खेल को अपने लहू से. काम आए हम दामे दरमे सुख ने अपने जुनून से. ये मेरा जुनून है जो मैंने इस किताब में रखा है. This is what the lubab of this publication is. Thank you very much. You'll have to read to know what it is in there. Now, about one word about it. This book is not meant for profit. It's been published in the UK. It's the finest document on good paper, 4-color printing, over 65 good photographs, remembering you always for anything. And also those who are not with us today have been remembered in there. I have remembered Ghulam Mustafa Khan, who is not with us anymore. I have remembered Sultan of Hussain Sahib, who is not remembered anymore. I have remembered Umar Qureshi, who is not. There is a list of people who are not with us anymore, but they have been remembered in the book. So when I say this, it is done for just the love of it. So that's the reason I said all profits of the sale of this book goes to the Hunar Foundation. And what is Hunar Foundation? Hunar Foundation is one organization which offers vocational training in 21 disciplines, over 17 chapters, Karachi to Kharian, and the cap of it is that they train youngsters, jobless, educated youngsters in 6 months to become bread earners. What else can we want out of an organization who's turning young, educated, jobless people into bread earners? My hat's off to them, and that's the reason I feel that we must give whatever we can to that foundation, because they're doing a great job. And having said that, I'm convinced that it's not the end of it. They have a scope. They are doing 10,000 boys, they've done 10,000 students till now, accredited by City and Guilds of UK, trained by Australian trainers. They've got all that one would rely on and give it to them. So this is what my message for the THF is, Junaid. My book, which is costing 3,200 or 18 pounds, the forward writer Zahir Abbas paid 50 pounds for it. Lord Nazir pays 50 pounds for it. I have got lots of people in Karachi, Islamabad, who paid more than 5,000 rupees for the book just because they thought that the profits are going to Hunar Foundation, not to Tahir Memon's pocket. I'm not interested. God has given me everything that I could think of. My life is full and accomplished and completed. I can give, I don't need to take. I'm willing to give anything I could still give, including the young generation, training in the art of marketing. Thank you very much.
है दास्तान दराज भी और दिल गुदाज भी, लेकिन कहाँ है दिल के दिया जाए, लेकिन कहाँ है वक्त के दिया जाए इसको तूल. So, badi zabardast, it was a long, lengthy discussion, and still more to be come. If I believe we have some not time constraints. Mr. Tahir Memon is very personable, very articulate, and very well educated. You are an inspirational force for the younger folk. Thank you very much, Mr. Tahir Memon Saab. Few of the things you remember that about the Wills Cup, mentioned about the cricket broadcast, as rightly pointed out by Mr. Khalid Ghayas Saab. In those days, we used to call time and again, ये रवां तबसरा आपकी खिदमत में विल सिगरेट बनाने वाले इदारे पाकिस्तान टोबैको कंपनी लिमिटेड के ताउन से पेश किया जा रहा है. The time rolls on, but I still remember Mr. Tahir Memon used to sponsor the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy final. He used to sponsor Patton's Trophy final. He used to sponsor the cricketing books. So there's a lot of literature still available, sponsored by the sole efforts of Mr. Tahir Memon and PTC. So thank you very much, sir. And we believe that such discussions that needs a lot of time will continue in near future as well. इसमें एक और चीज़ है कि वो फिरता है फलक बरसों पर खाक के पर्दे से इंसान निकलते हैं. हम watching Zakir Khan, Subhan Saab, Asad, and of course Harun Rashid. ये उस era के लोग हैं from 1977 to 1998. So it's a great contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm hastened to invite Mr. Salim Parvez, who is co-author of the book, and he's an energetic and very knowledgeable partner with Tahir Memon Saab. Can you please come and have some words about the book and about the effort? Mr. Salim Parvez Saab.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to share my thoughts about the book that I wrote with Tahir Memon Saab. The 77 to 98 period is a passage of time in Pakistan history where we both thought that it merits a document. It needed to be documented. And we've tried our best to go beyond the statistics of the games. We've gone beyond the players. We haven't concentrated on the players. We have concentrated on the development of the game. And Tahir Memon Saab is very rightly calling it the untold story. And that becomes our subtitle. So he's very right on that. Just few words on Tahir Memon. I've only known him for 7 years, but find him very focused, very determined, and very professional in whatever he does. There's nothing half-baked about Tahir Memon Saab, and it's been a privilege to work with you, sir. Tahir Memon is unique in the sense that he never played this game, but he associated himself with the game and did a great job. While doing the research, we were able to get 74 contributions from big names of Pakistan cricket, like Abdul Qadir Sahib is here, and lots of people from media, and lots of first-class cricketers. So we were happy to have a varied opinion. Some umpires were consulted as well. I see Mia Aslam Saab sitting. Very nice of you to come over, sir. And once I got the first manuscript, we were so pleased that a British publisher agreed to publish it. And that was a big achievement as well for Pakistani writers to be accepted in British. And that hasn't been the case with many publications, we know that. Now this particular period of 77 to 98, most of you will agree, is the golden period of Pakistan cricket. Not just because we produced some great players, we achieved great victories, but we managed the game on professional lines. And that was the period when Pakistan's standing in world cricket was brilliant. Our cricket was managed and played as professionally as we could expect in that period. And this is the period when Pakistan had the honor of hosting 2 World Cups. And hopefully in the near future, we will do the same. And those days shouldn't be too far for us, inshallah. Now going forward, Pakistan Cricket Board is starting a new era with a new management. And we all hope that the PCB team or management led by Ehsan Mani Saab and a new managing director Wasim Khan and a certain individual by the name of Imran Khan, we should be moving forward. We shouldn't be compromising on anything. This game of cricket needs to be run on professional lines, and our domestic cricket and regional cricket and junior cricket all need our best effort for us to become a great side again. I will conclude by saying that after launches in London, Leeds, as Tahir Memon Saab has mentioned, Islamabad and Karachi, we are very hopeful we'll get a positive response from you guys in Lahore as well. I thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have got to interrupt before the next speaker. I welcome Shafqat Rana here because he, I thought, was missing, and thank you very much for coming over. I have forgotten to mention that my friend Javed, the great cartoonist of the yesteryears, which he is still doing that business, has made so many cartoons of me, including the one he made this morning, this afternoon at the reception. Thank you very much, Javed.
Thank you, Mr. Pervez, for your brief but comprehensive talk. You did full justice to as a co-author. Last but not least, a word from the most experienced administrator of the game, Mr. Ehsan Mani, Chairman, Pakistan Cricket Board. A first-class cricketer of his time himself, his association with Pakistan Cricket started as permanent representative of BCCP on ICC, followed by his appointment as Chairman, Asian Cricket Council, then as Chairman, International Cricket Council. His understanding of the game, his prowess as administrators is unparalleled. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ehsan Mani, Chairman, Pakistan Cricket Board.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The disadvantage of speaking last is everything has been said. But really, I was delighted when just about 2 years ago, Tahir approached me. He contacted me in London and informed me that he was writing a book about his time in cricket. He wanted to know if I would be prepared to contribute a small piece by writing about my impressions of what Pakistan Tobacco Company and his own involvement had done for Pakistan cricket. I had absolutely no hesitation in saying yes. I had seen firsthand just how much Pakistan Tobacco Company and Tahir had done for cricket in Pakistan. I had the privilege of working with Tahir on the 96 World Cup committee, PILCOM as it was called. PILCOM stood for Pakistan, India, Lanka Committee. Note, Pakistan came first. Pakistan Cricket Board was second to none in the world. And that is where we should be. Pakistan Cricket Board standing on the ICC at every forum mattered, our voice mattered. We seem to have lost that voice a bit. Inshallah, we will get it back. Tahir and I were both members of PILCOM, which is the Pakistan, India, Lanka Committee, as I've said. The main reason for that was Mr. Shahid Rafi, who was here. He inducted both of us on that particular board. But Pakistan's relationship with other cricket boards, and particularly BCCI, the Indian Cricket Board, was probably, we had the closest relationship between any board. And again, it was with people like Shahid Rafi, he developed, and others, who developed very, very good working relationship with our Indian counterparts, Madhav Scindia, I.S. Bindra, Jagmohan Dalmia, and others. We respected each other, we worked well together, and they had the confidence in us to lead in the 1996 World Cup, which was really a World Cup led by Pakistan as compared to the 87 World Cup, where India had taken the lead. Wills, Pakistan Tobacco Company brand, was a sponsor for the 96 World Cup, so I could see for myself how much they contribute to cricket in Pakistan. I was also in a unique position to observe Tahir's remarkable organizational, administrative, and administrative skills. I saw him work with immense pressure. There was running a World Cup, and I've been involved in a number of these sort of events over the years, is no joke. Tahir alluded to the fact that he worked till midnight. I saw Subhan and Asad doing the same in Karachi. We used to we'd normally get home by 2 or 3 in the morning, but I came to help them in the last couple of weeks. But Tahir was absolutely unflappable. And not once did I see him lose his cool, in spite of the fact that I think we all tried very hard to put him under a lot of pressure by making totally reasonable demands on him when it was least expected. He would listen quietly, go away and do it. Much earlier than 96, and I've run ahead of myself, Tahir had been appointed by the Pakistan Tobacco Company to be the point person of their relationship with the Board of Control for Cricket in Pakistan, or BCCP as it was then known. Tahir, over a period of the 21 years that he was involved with Pakistan cricket, developed a deep understanding and remarkable insight into Pakistan cricket. So it's only right that he should write about that time. This book of his is a very historical document. It is one that I think badly needed to be written. There are too many people who are involved in doing wonderful things, but what they do is not documented. And Tahir, I thank you for going to the extent of actually writing the book. Over 21 years, Tahir managed a relationship between Pakistan Tobacco Company, who was investing in Pakistan cricket, and the Pakistan Cricket Board, or the BCCP. The fact that this relationship lasted so long was entirely due to what Tahir brought to the party. It was his wearing two hats, on one hand representing the sponsor, and on the other representing the client, that made this relationship so remarkable. And during this time, he was virtually working full-time for the Pakistan board. He oversaw domestic cricket, that is, the Wills Cup branded matches, including the Wills Cup, Wills Super Cup, etc. In fact, he more than oversaw these Wills branded matches. He was involved in planning, organizing, and virtually running domestic cricket in Pakistan. I keep asking him when he'll come back. And what is remarkable that around these matches and events, he created events. He did things that, he alluded about the initiative with the Panwala. These are things that get cricket out to people. Today, our domestic cricket in Pakistan is suffering. No one watches it. There are far too many matches, very little meaning to those matches, very little context. We are playing a lot of cricket, but the quality of cricket is missing in Pakistan today. That's what we have to get back. And I only have to look at examples that people like Tahir set for us, the standards they set for us, to know which is the right direction of travel. When India and Pakistan were awarded the right to host the 1987 World Cup, and that was the first World Cup ever held outside the United Kingdom. It was a big move by the ICC to allow the subcontinent to host this World Cup, it was not unsurprising that the Board of Control for Cricket in Pakistan turned to Wills Tobacco Company and asked that Tahir be seconded to run the World Cup. He ran it, as he said, with just 5 people. Today, the ICC, when it runs an event, has about 200 people. And the 87 World Cup was an absolutely outstanding success. And that is what laid the foundation on which the 96 Cricket World Cup was awarded to the subcontinent. And again, apart from Tahir, Shahid Rafi had a big hand in that. And when we ran the 96 World Cup, because of his experience with the 87 World Cup, Tahir brought a wealth of knowledge and experience which contributed to another successful Cricket World Cup in the subcontinent, with the final being played here in Lahore at the Gaddafi Stadium. Another perspective covers Tahir's involvement with Pakistan cricket over 21 years. And it's a very fascinating account of wide-ranging issues, challenges, and achievements. In my involvement with cricket over the past 30-odd years, I cannot think of any other sponsor in the world who worked so closely as Pakistan Tobacco Company did with the Pakistan Cricket Board. The credit for this is due entirely to Tahir. He made that relationship work. And I thank you for that. Another perspective records the unique role of Pakistan Tobacco, not only in supporting cricket in Pakistan, but actually developing and promoting the game. They went far beyond the call of duty to do this. This was at a time when there was very little money in cricket. There was no media deals, no broadcasters. I remember the time when Pakistan cricket had to pay Pakistan television to come and televise a cricket match. So for Wills to have stepped in at that time, or to Pakistan Tobacco, and have offered to not only support Pakistan cricket, but dedicated someone of the caliber of Tahir to support that initiative, was a great achievement for Pakistan cricket. I would like to congratulate Tahir and Salim for actually sitting down and writing this book. It had to be written. It was a very critical period for Pakistan cricket. It was with their involvement that we've got some of the great players who are sitting here today. They came through that system. We need to get back to that system. Another perspective is a must-read for anyone who is a serious student of Pakistan cricket, and I commend it to all of you. Read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and you have rightly suggested that this association of Wills with cricket spread over decades, and we can rightly compare the standard and frequency of the matches overall with the famous Benson and Hedges and Gillette Cup of England. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for excellent appreciation of the importance of recording the history of the game. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time and patient listening. Hope you all enjoy the evening. And now let's get to the final item on the agenda, the dinner. Thank you.